Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to Tuesday morning and my Careers and Coffee show. Love to be here with you. Can't wait to help you amp up your career game today. So, if you are here with me live, get in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions so I can find them easily. And if you are in the Mile Walk Academy in one of my programs, make sure to give me your hashtag medallion that I love to see so I can give you a shout out and also know what assets you have at your disposal. So I'm glad this is Tuesday. I'm finally feeling myself again after that wonderful Friday. I don't know what we would call it. It's a meet and greet. We went from little late lunch to happy hour to evening. It was a lot of fun. Those Chicago people know how to have a good time. So thanks to everybody who came. My wife had to go to work early this morning. She wanted to say how great it was to meet everybody, as did my mom and my dad, who are also recruiting for you guys now. So let's get into the chat in a minute here. I want to talk a bit about resumes and the tip I gave you this morning. Now, some of you, truth be told, some of you might have noticed that those of that know my schedule upside down. Normally, we send our email on Tuesday mornings at 6:30 Central Time, which is my time, and then half an hour later, we're here together. And this morning, we sent it a half an hour early because we were having some email server issues, and the emails weren't going out like they normally do. It was taking many hours over the last couple of days for them to go out, so we sent it out an hour early. Apparently, Kara is telling me that not everybody's gotten the email from this morning, but hopefully you found the YouTube channel and you found the video. I talked about what I think is one of the, if not the most powerful resume tip, and the reason I think it was so powerful is because it's something that really transforms all the context that you have on your resume. And one of the biggest, I think, troubles that people have is articulating the true value that they provided to employers in their history. So if you think about, a lot of people are able to recollect what it was they did, plans they put together, programs they developed, whatever it might be, the fact that they managed the marketing department or the customer service department or the sales department and so on. But what a lot of people have difficulty doing is either remembering or just flat out doing it, identifying what happened as a result of you doing what you did. And what that tip was that I gave this morning was, if you can ask yourself the question at every single step of your resume as you go through your highlights, as you go through your work experience, your professional experience, and all the things that you've done, as you assemble your bullets, if you can remember to ask yourself, what happened as a result of me doing this activity or me having these responsibilities? Basically, what happened? Not what did I do, but what happened as a result of what you did. What you'll do is you'll start thinking about the ongoing ripples, the benefits that occurred, whatever they are. And the more you can quantify them, the better. But even if you can't quantify the benefits or what actually transpired, at least put that in. At least show some demonstration of what that impact was. So that was the tip. And I think if you ask yourself that at every turn, and you make sure that you're implementing that tip on every bullet until you've finally answered that question, I think it will really add a lot of power to your resume, which is ultimately what the employers want to see. So I hope you enjoyed that. The video itself was less than 3 minutes. I'm trying to mix in some of these short videos that are really fast and to the point, as well as some of the longer, more thoughtful, 15 to 20, 25, 30-minute videos as well. So I hope you're liking the change of pace. I hope you're liking the tips. Let me know what you think of those in the chat, or you can always reply to the emails that we send you. And hopefully the many of you that have still not gotten that email will enjoy it. So let's let me know what you think of that. Let's go to the chat. I see my friend from Europe, Adam Stark, is here and first in line again. Kara, everything looking pretty good? Looking pretty good? I'm just looking at my, hang on, I always like to check. Oh, By the way, I don't know if he is here, but Dan in Demand from Minnesota brought me this coffee mug, which I have been drinking out of pretty much every day since he gave it to me on Friday. Kat, I don't know if you're here. You're probably working. My wife steals your big cup from me, but I am enjoying it, and everything is right because we are still in Virgo land for at least another week. Okay. Oh, wait, speaking of meetups, next meetup is December 6th in Tampa, Clearwater at Frenchie's. Be on the lookout for that one. So for all my Floridians, for those of you in Tampa, St. Pete's, Dunedin, wherever you are, that's where I'll be. All right, Adam Stark. Last week I mentioned my short film. Adam, 3-4 weeks in a row you've mentioned this project. You probably ought to, put it up here for everybody, maybe post it on YouTube so we can all see it. I'll be applying for event planner jobs. The project is valuable as it has lots of transferable experience, and it's my only recent experience. It's in the planning stage. I want to do this in my free time. I don't want to say I'm doing a side hustle, but I don't want to seem like I'm a quitter. Any advice? Adam, do not mention anything that you are doing that is... I would not, in your particular situation, and I want everybody to be careful because I've become a little bit more knowledgeable about what Adam is doing. When you all have side hustles, you need to be very, very careful about the context in which you bring them up to prospective employers. Employers do not want you to have divided attention, and a lot of them, frankly, have no moonlighting clauses and those kinds of things in their employment agreements, and some of them just simply want your free time, or at least would rather you rest in your free time so that you're energized when you show up to work for them. So, Adam, it's one thing if you've got something that you can demonstrate to prospective employers to say, this is something that I put together for my consulting business. These are the kinds of things that I am able to do. So as an event planner, I would be able to create some social media content, marketing collateral, so on and so forth that we can use. But I would only use that if I had something that was portfolio-like, meaning that I could actually show them the pictures, the video, the context, and whatever, and make it look as though it's done. So that's the part about I don't want you to express, well, I'm still working on this little beauty, and I still have a ways to go on it, because then that's code for, he's going to start the job, and he's still going to have to do this or want to do this. So my advice is to stay away from it until it's complete. The other thing that you can do is not say that it's incomplete. If you have a clip or something, say, I don't really want to show you the whole thing because it's in fragments and I'm still piecing it together, but I certainly would park this. But this is the kind of stuff. Here's a short clip or something of that nature. But that's what I would do. I would probably err on the side of caution. All right. More to living. 1 of 3. Hey, Andy, company who is a leader in its space has posted a job opening. I networked with department head via Facebook Messenger after locating him via LinkedIn. No direct email available. Without seeing my resume while answering questions, he concluded that I'm overqualified for what he referred to as an entry-level position that requires advanced knowledge experience. I followed up with a rejection letter protocol. I tried offering my resume twice, but he did not take the bait. I would not have either, and I'll explain why. We parted on good terms, but I felt baited and confused by advanced job description. Here is the moral of the story here, folks. Do not, so first thing is I applaud your creativity and aggression in trying to do this. However, if everybody that contacts me through these other mediums for something that is more either direct or LinkedIn style, I ignore. I ignore the questions. So, I get a million questions on my Facebook page, seeking career advice, I never respond. If I got a message on my Facebook Messenger about something like that, I would probably ignore it. In his case, he answered it, but now you are at a complete disadvantage because you're not giving him or her or them or whoever the requisite protocols they need and the pieces of information they need to make a well-informed decision. You also are communicating via a chat style, text style medium where you are trying to explain yourself. It's not a good spot to be in. It's different if you send a thoughtful cover letter. You say, I'm open to these types of positions that range from here to here or whatever. Here's my resume. I'm very interested in your company. Right? He's knocking you out for his own selection process. You don't want him to do that, but you have not given him the proper information. So you got to lead with that stuff, not try to throw it in after the fact. If it's so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There are times when I want you to use LinkedIn, InMail, or email to develop a networking relationship with somebody that you can build a rapport with and then do the ask about the opportunity, in which case you can put forth all your credentials. That's a multi-step process. There are other times where you can identify my boss hunting technique, or you can hunt for recruiters, or you can hunt for hiring officials, whatever it might be, where you go in immediately with the ask and you give them the credentials they need. You don't ask whether they want your resume. You just send it and give them a better look at you. I probably would have reacted the same way as he did if I would have engaged with you. I probably wouldn't have engaged with you, but if I did, I probably would have reacted. I probably would have immediately made a judgment, and that's pretty much what I would have done. So my recommendation is don't use Facebook Messenger or Instagram or anything like that for something professional. Unless there's a company page, Facebook page that says, please use the Facebook Messenger app for inquiries, right? Some companies use them for customer service inquiries, but unless it's called out, I would stay away from that. And I would try using my other techniques. And it's difficult to follow up with the rejection letter protocol because you haven't actually engaged with him. Right? You had some online dialogue. It's very different. The rejection letter protocols, and if anybody's wondering what More to Living is referring to, I have a video out there about how to get the job after being rejected, and that video and the transcript that I give you for that is intended for somebody who goes through an interview process and gets rejected because you've developed a rapport with those people, with that company, and so the language that I provided works in that sense. In your case, I don't know that it's going to be as powerful, and it's especially not going to be as powerful if the individual is not even accepting your resume. So, and then there's a whole nother thing about being overqualified and about how I would handle that. There's an overqualified video that I have out there as well. So I don't have a whole lot to say there other than I would probably not use that medium. Anybody's email can be found. Just use sites like hunter.io. And I think hunter.io, you might even be able to verify the email address, the actual individual's email address. But if you can't, I like the site verifyemailaddress.org. So use those two in tandem to try to find the email to send it directly or send an in-mail via LinkedIn. All right, Varun, morning to you. Last Friday's hookup was awesome. It was all awesome. That's great. Oh, hey, look, Varun. So for all of you that are on I think I put them on the Interview Intervention Facebook group page yesterday. I put pictures from the 3 meetups we've had so far. And if you are noticing a photo bomber in a number of those videos, I'm not naming names, but that blonde photo bomber was Diana Dembski. In case anybody wants to know, yes, she was a huge hit at the party. And I hope you've recovered as well, my dear. Yes, you are a boot camper and a loyal follower, and you were a great hit at the meet and greet. So that was a ton of fun. So you can check out the pictures, everybody. And hey to you, Diana. Charlene Crocker, great to see you. Yes, you are an avid Mile Walk Academy member. Love to have you. Good morning to you. You did it. You got a job yesterday. Handshake deal on offer letter in the next day or so. Awesome. Phenomenal company, remote option, and met with who I'll be partnered up with, and we clicked right away. Thank you so much. Oh, my dear Lord, I love this stuff. I always like to take these little pictures of the chat. That's so awesome. I'm so happy for you. I really am. I know you've been working hard at this. Congratulations. Can we all actually give her a Careers and Coffee hug, claps, and whatever that symbol is with the hand raising? I love that. I love that. Congratulations to you. All right, let's see where are we at. More to living. My question above was that a form of baiting to see who bites on a job ad. Was it? More to living. I don't know if I misread something. I don't know. You know what? I don't know if I misread what you're saying. Did they if this is a company who's a leader in its space has posted a job opening, did they post it on Facebook? Or can you clarify this? Because I'm confused by you know what? I'm totally lost. I really am totally lost. Maybe Kara can help me clean that up. And thank you. I'm glad the resume template has been warmly accepted. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure about this Facebook thing. I don't know if my advice was out in left field if that didn't apply. Deborah, hey, from Minnesota, I'm a boot camper. Great to have you in the program. Hope you're going to join me on Wednesday. By the way, in a little while, I want to do about a quick 2 minutes on the boot camp. We have a special. We haven't had a special on the boot camp since July. And October, I'm not saying this to scare you, this is just statistics. October is the roughest month of the year to get a job. It's historically been. We've observed it through surveys. I've observed it through, I've observed it through my recruitment firm Mile Walk. There's always a lull. We've taken surveys. We've looked at the analytics. It historically is the worst hiring month, most difficult of the year, primarily because, as you can imagine, January and February, this is not for every company, and it's not that it's impossible to get a job. I'm just saying it's the toughest month. So earlier in the year, there's a huge hiring pickup. As things continue on throughout the year, companies are adding staff for projects that are building. Certainly there's turnover and all that good stuff. But what happens in October is people are working hard to try to wrap the projects up. They also go into planning mode where they start to plan for the following year. There tends to be a lull. They try to get an idea of what projects they're going to roll into the next year or what projects they're going to do new, and they start looking at budget that they're going to need to spend within the current year. So all these things create this little perfect storm where all they're doing is planning. Then what happens is November starts to roll around and they say, uh-oh, we better hurry up and start interviewing people so that we can have them here for January. And so then it picks back up again. So I wanted to make sure that we had a special on the boot camp now, because we have a session on Wednesday that we're going to be having a live session, a private session for the boot campers, and then it's going to be about another month before the boot camp goes on special again when we do a 5-week run in October and in November. So if you were interested, jump in. It's a great time to jump in. You get a ton of good stuff. Hey Evelyn, great to see you. Phyllis, I believe that's Phyllis. Good to see you. Connie Cotter. Connie, can you tell everybody how comfy those chairs are? Am I right? That was so great. Linda said it was great to have you. You know, when we have these meetups, we try to put up our out-of-town guests. So Connie got to sit in the beloved chairs. That was so fun. Yes, you are. All right. Seema, hey. Chi-Town, you're representing. I love it. Chanel Hutchinson, hey, from Hotlanta. Andy Perez, hey to you. I asked you last week that I had that exercise panel interview. You did. I now remember. Thank you. I think I did well. I'm waiting for a call. Andy Perez, fingers and toes, arms and legs crossed for you. I'm hoping for you, buddy. All right. Hey, Pansy. Oh, Alex. Alex, you were such a hit with my father. I have to tell you, he sent some emails to some buddies of his to see if they could warm up the contacts for you. So how about that? I don't know if you guys got my email this morning, but yes, Dad LaCivita. When I say the LaCivitas do whatever it takes, it's whatever, whoever, however to help you guys get jobs. My dad was serving as a little networking conduit. And Alex, I'm waiting for one of the contacts at that company to get back to me with some fresh names for you to contact. I'm contemplating which boot camp to join based on how my resume looks now. Would you review it and suggest which one to join? Alex, I don't need to review it. Do this. Get in the base level. Just get in the lowest level boot camp. So there's 3 levels. Get in the lowest level one. You get everything. You go through it and then work the resume. Then after you work the resume, you can decide if you want to add a resume review. You don't have to do it right now. So don't spend all your money up front. Just get in the program, go through it. Most boot campers, they actually, while a lot of them like the resume review, most of them would rather invest additional dollars on a coaching session with me. That seems to be a very effective route depending on how much you want to invest in the program. I would not, don't buy it. Just get in the base level and then decide from there. And you can always add the service later. And apparently you can now text me because well, your picture's in the phone. All right. So that's what I suggest. Joe Winter from Louisville, hope you're doing great, my boot camper. The Dingy Duck, love the short, get to the point tips. Folks, I could say it all in seconds, but then you don't get the context. And if you need to make alterations on the fly or you need to adjust for your situation, you don't have all the background. So that's why some of the longer videos are more effective. And you really want to laugh. I'm now, because I put these short ones out, now I'm getting people complaining that they're not long enough. So it's, I can't win either way, but I am having fun. Yes, this mug, Connie, check this out. My head is like, I'm a tiny guy. I'm 5'6". I'm not a big guy. So, when I get mugs that are this big, but Cats is probably the biggest mug I've ever seen. And that thing takes like 2 hands. It is a very nice mug if anybody wants to know, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see that diligent, intelligent, reliable, right? I mean, that's pretty much me. I'm a Virgo to a T. Oh, that is Cafe du Monde, coffee with chicory in it, which I love. We like the French roast too. I like all different kinds of coffee. And that was from Dan in Demand. Sharu, hey Andy, please inform whether we should follow up after sending a no job opening cover letter mail to companies. If yes, then when, and anything we should keep in mind. I love this question. And as a matter of fact, we have added to our content list, I'm going to do a video on how to appropriately follow up with a company. And it's going to include everything from, I sent my message or my resume in the applicant tracking system. What do? I sent an email. What do? I sent a cover letter. What do? I had an interview. What do? But in your case, Charu, what I would do is if I sent a cover letter and my resume, I think it is really smart to get them 7 days later. That's 5 business days. That's 1 calendar week. And then tap on the shoulder again. Then what you do is you wait 14 days, and then you tap them again, and then that's the 3rd contact. Then what I would do is I would drop it. If you want to contact them 30 days later, that's your fourth contact. That's starting to get a little annoying, but you never know. A lot can change in 30 days. But 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, something like that. And then anything you should keep in mind, it should be a replay of what you sent initially and forward it and just say, hey, I just wanted to check back in to see if you got my message and if you have any thoughts on this, or if you're interested in connecting, or if you have any insight. I mean, it's just short and friendly, and forward what you sent originally. I don't know if that's sinister or it's like a play on sinister. Morning, Andy. I've been getting rejections because I'm applying for jobs that are too junior. I feel I'm not qualified for managerial roles. Even job ads for junior ads sound like they want people who can do 49,343 things. How can I sell myself to managerial roles better? So if you are looking at the resume, because at this point you're doing it on paper, the resume tip this morning is certainly going to help you with that. The resume template I provide is certainly going to help you with that. And there's a video I have out there, 8 ways. I don't know if we changed it, but the title, 8 ways to prove your value to the employer, and those kinds of things. The other thing that I would do is I would watch my 3 secrets to get your resume noticed webinar. It's a free recorded webinar, meaning you can watch it anytime you want. Just got to register for it, get the email with the link so you can access it. And in that webinar, I talk about the most important aspects to highlight on your resume. If you do that, so in effect, if you can demonstrate what you've done, the impact you've had, if these are managerial roles and you're truly talking about managing staff and those kind of things, you need to highlight not just the staff that you managed, the number of people, but what they did and what you managed them to accomplish. So what did the unit do? And so those are the kind of things that I think sell you. Folks, you remember this about when you are going to pitch yourself. I have tons of pictures from boot campers who initially tried to sell themselves low, thinking this will help me get into the mix. And when I said, forget that, you need to go at the right level and you need to sell yourself as a high value ad. So I put an analogy in what I do. If I'm trying to get you to engage in, because I want to help you at the deepest level and I want you to enroll in my job search bootcamp, for example, I'm not going to try to put a package together that is this high, and try to give it away for this amount of money, because my job is not to create something of awesome value and then try to figure out what is the right number to get the most people to pay. My job as a business owner, your job as a job seeker, is to figure out, how do I create high value and then sell it at an attractive but high price. So the boot camp is $500 on special, $600 normally that people pay for it. So it's not my job to say, hey, here's $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 product that I want you to pay $97 for. That's what a lot of people try to do when you're applying for lower level jobs than you deserve or than you're qualified for. That's effectively what you are doing. So what do? I try to show you all the value and how it's going to change your life and what I can do for you. That's what I want you to do for the employers. That starts on paper. And then you have to go in to the interview and sell it. So I want you to go high. I want you to go high. And then what happened with these boot campers was, as soon as they started to elevate, and instead of shooting for like managerial roles, they were shooting for director and VP roles like they should have been, all of a sudden they started getting callbacks. So that's how I would look at that. Don't go low. Niall, hey, thank you for all your material. In my opinion, the best available. I'm in the process of looking for work in the UK with the intent of emigrating. Okay, so lots of telephone Skype interviews. Awesome. Good for you. I think that was one of one. Good for you. Great to have you. Maverick, hey, Always makes me think of Top Gun. Abdul and Connie, everybody wishing Charlene. Yeah, you know what, Charlene, you're just awesome. Epiphany. Nice to see you. Thanks for all the nice comments on my YouTube channel to balance out all the knucklehead comments that I get. My Yank. Hey, first time ever. Can we give My Yank, I hope I said that correctly, a first-timer hug? I mean, I love these shows, man. I live for these Tuesday and Thursday things. Hey, special announcement. Hey, I haven't told Kara this yet. We are in October going to be having what I think is going to be a 4-day workshop. And what I'm leaning toward is an advanced course in interviewing. So, meaning as a free workshop when we do our special next month, and it's going to be on a number of things that take interviewing to the next level. And I'm not talking about interviewing tactics. I'm talking about building rapport, maintaining your high levels of confidence, the leadership stuff that you want to show, how to give a presentation when you're in the interview, when you're actually called to give a presentation. So I think I want to do something advanced like that. It's in the works, but it's going to be like 4 days, and I might stagger it like Tuesday, Thursday. And so we'll do it over the course of a couple weeks because these like 4-day in a rowers are a little taxing with all these live shows. But hey, so my Yank, you got that to look forward to as well. All right. Ombre, question. I've not had a long history of employment. I am now at a job I like, but not earning the money I am looking for. Should I stay 1 year in this job to create a solid employment history? So this is the, proverbial double-edged sword. I am a person who believes that your happiness supersedes stomaching stuff. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying run away at the first sign of challenge. What I think you are facing is something that where you don't feel like I'm earning enough. That is either an issue with the fact that you're either working for a company who is lower paying, or you're at a more junior level where you haven't started earning what you're hoping to earn. Your expectations could be misaligned in what you think you're worth versus the value you're actually providing. There's a number of issues here. But if you are leaving just for money, if and I know you're a younger professional, if you're leaving just for money, then that cycle will never end. If you feel like you are grossly underpaid, my first reaction to anything is, and I dare I say, I think this would apply to anything in your life. I always tell people, if you're not happy with what you have, what makes you think you're going to be happier with more? Right? It's really true. You might think you're going to be happier, but happiness is a cause and effect, quid pro quo. It is not self-reliant. If I do something, if this happens, I will be happy. If this doesn't happen, I will not be happy. That will be with you your entire life. The joy is not self-reliant. It is self-reliant. The joy in what you're doing. So if you like what you're doing day in and day out, you're going to be happier. You're going to do it better. You're likely going to get paid more because you're doing a great job and all that good stuff. So the question for you is, do you like what you're doing and you just feel underpaid? If that's the case, my first suggestion to you would be to go to your employer and see about a possible raise. That would be my first reaction. If you feel like you just don't love what you're doing and you're underpaid, then I would just move on and just go. And I mean, that's really the way I see it. So, and it's difficult because you haven't been working a very long time, so you don't have a lot of data points to factor in to your decision making. But moving slower is better for you. I would try to just make sure that I do want to leave. It is not enough. It will never be enough at that employer because you don't like what you're doing. If you do like what you're doing, then I would see about getting a raise. So, and I can't say to you, everybody's financial situation is different. And so I'm a fan of just being careful and cautious and making good decisions. And I never like making decisions when I'm tired, frustrated, upset, or any of that stuff. I will never make a decision in that state of mind. So if you are upset because you're not earning this amount of money or whatever, I would probably do my homework. I would probably do some self-reflection. Do I like what I'm doing? I would probably try to get some more data points in the market, and I would do all that before. It's not about creating a solid employment history. You don't have an employment history right now, is what you're saying. So you know what? If you don't stay somewhere a year, maybe that just wasn't the job for you. So you got to factor all that in. I hope that helps. I hope I didn't confuse you there. All right, Carrie Freeman. I am sad I couldn't get to the meetup, but all Andy's coaching helped me get a new job. Yay! So I can't complain. I have to go to the next one. You do. Tampa, December 6th. Linda's birthday. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just show you what's inside the boot camp. This is gonna take about 2 minutes. And I know Alex asked me about this. All right, so I do have a special. It's $100 off. Real quick, if you guys have not seen the boot camp page, there's that cute picture of me in my office. There's a little about me. There's all those places I've been. It's really pretty sweet. I almost laugh when I see my own page where it says 5 modules. There are 5 modules. They're all main modules, but then there's a bunch of sub-modules that are really important. But you get all the tools and templates. I think the really important thing about the boot camp, people say, well, don't you give away a lot of free stuff? Yeah, but you know what it's like to be in the boot camp, have access to this forever, all the upgrades I give, the extra bonuses, and how about access to me when you need it? And then 30 live sessions a year. This is really kind of an understatement, this 24. But this here is huge to have me at your disposal. So it matters. Now, the modules that are in there are, there's the self-discovery stuff. This repeatedly, this one here, the session 1 on starting, I get the most compliments on what this does for people about all the mistakes they've made throughout their career, why they now understand, why the bell goes off about, I didn't understand how to be deliberate, I didn't understand how to be thoughtful, and I didn't understand how to investigate myself, and the employers, and to make sure that I'm in the right spot. That's what this stage is all about. Then this is the resume stuff, the LinkedIn stuff, but this is the other one. 90% of the boot campers, this is the area, the job searching mechanics that bring you to market is ultimately what wins the job for them. Most people do not know how to search. It's one thing for you to take a resume template, get the instruction from me. It is another thing to take that ammunition into combat when you are working on live targets and you have to bring yourself in what is lots of times an uncomfortable situation, but this is where they score. And then there's all the interviewing stuff, all the negotiation here, folks, is not about negotiating as much as it is about doing everything right from the time you submit your application all the way through to the time you counteroffer so that you get paid what you deserve. So that's really cool. But these are some awesome specialty sections or deeper level dives into resume writing, all those little exceptions. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I took a year off. I'm a military vet. I've got a gap in employment. I'm a contractor. I'm a whatever. So I go through all that stuff. The job search networking templates, I've done copywriting for you for all the email networking templates that you would need that I could think of. I explain all them to you. I take you through them in like a 30, 40-minute module of how to work it. I give you the booklet. If you opened your email yesterday, you saw the table of contents of what those networking templates are. And then what about when you get into small and medium-sized companies? Are you somebody out there who says, man, I just couldn't get at the information that I needed. I got into this small company and I feel like I'm totally hosed because I didn't know all this stuff. Well, fact matter is you probably could have gotten it if you would have evaluated the right things, asked the right questions, knew what to look for, and knew what it meant when you found it. That's what that's all about. And then there's some specialty modules on career changing. This is the methodology I used to change careers successfully twice. I give you the 12 steps and all the assets. If you are a more tenured worker or you are an executive, there's different things you need to do. Here, coming up in November, December, January, February, you're going to actually have to change the way you job search. I go through what the changes are specifically to do in that, but it's an end-to-end framework. It's do this first, do this second, do this third. It's all the cause and effect stuff. It's pretty cool. You get all the groups. You get the career accelerator. So what do you do on your first 90 days? How do you prepare for your promotion? If you're wondering how I think up everything that I give you, all the processes, the protocols, the assets, the creative things, the workshops, the other stuff, I give you how I generate ideas. So you do not have to have a creative bone in your body in order to come up with killer ideas and projects that move the needle. This will make you a star in your company. And then I give you all my organizational tactics. How do I plan everything? My quarter, my month, my week, my day, my life, everything. How to prepare for your quarterly, annual, and any type of review. Yes, I've added videos. There's some selfie videos of people sharing their experience. There's also some stories that people have shared with me as well. If you got, say an extra 16, 17 minutes and you feel like watching it. But there's tons of testimonials there. And then Alex was asking me about this, but if I was contemplating getting in the boot camp, you can get in for $497. That gets you everything I just showed you. And then if you want a coaching session or a resume review, that's $500. If you want, you certainly can get in all at once. Some people like to get in the lowest level and then determine what they need. That's a prudent way of approaching it. Some people are like, nope, I want it all. I'm jumping in. Totally cool. All that stuff's great. You can pick any one of those that you want. Hey, there's a whole bunch more testimonials. Yes, I give you a 30-day money-back guarantee because I know the stuff works. If you are in a program like my interview intervention course or the resume writing masterclass or whatever it is of mine that you are in as it relates to job searching, all of those dollars that you've invested in yourself, I will give you credit toward the boot camp price. If you are not sure, email support@milewalk.com. Some people have asked me, they say, hey, I'm in your leadership program. The leadership program is a completely separate curriculum. It's a self-help, high-performance leadership stuff. Is different than the boot camp side of what it is that I offer you. So just recognize that. Here's all the dates. So we're on tomorrow at 5 Eastern, and then these are 5 Fridays in a row. So if you get in now, you can jump into the session tomorrow. You've got a little bit of time to run through the program, and then you can come back in about a month, and then we run through it every single week. Those are very fun. You get a lot of the community gets engaged in those. It's every Friday for 5 weeks in a row. There is an accordion style. If you have any questions, you can always click this stuff and check it out. But I do hope you get into that. If you got any questions about it, just let me know. But it's really, really an effective program. And while you're going to see, there's tons of testimonials, and I've got a whole batch of another 100 testimonials that I'm now sorting through between videos, emails, and other things. I know I'm not going to be able to get in all to you before Wednesday, but as we go through this over the next month, you'll start to see even more stuff. So, but if you got any questions, just let me know. I love that program. It's really evolved into something awesome, and it was great in version 1. We're in about version 20 now because we've been doing it since that program since December of 2017. So we're coming up on 2 years. It's really got thousands of people that have been through that program with great success. All right. Danny. Need ideas to explain gap in profession on resume and in an interview? Danny, I shot a video, how to handle employment gaps. I cover all of it. On the resume, what you should say in the cover letter or not, and what to say in the interviews. Check that out. Sharu, hey again. This is a great question. Can I send direct intro mails to 2 people at a firm at the same time or wait for the first person to respond? I've been mailing top management but confused whether I should mail other employees too. So I like this question a lot because it can get very confusing. I am, in this particular situation, in favor of trying to hit the bullseye right out of the chute, meaning I would try to send my message to who I considered to be either my prospective boss or a top managerial level that would manage the unit or units that I could be a part of. That would be my first shot. What you hope is that person, he or she, gets back to you. I would give that person about 7 days. And if that person didn't get back to me, I would probably do a couple things. At that point, I might reach out to that person again, tap, tap, wanted to see if you got this. I might give them a day or two just to see. And then next day, hit somebody else. Give that person a little bit, and so on. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm waiting a whole week. Yes. But while that week is going on, you should be contacting all those other companies. And if you are not familiar with my 14-day challenge, maybe Kara can pop up. Kara, you know what? Can we put up the video on, go from the Job Search Accelerator workshop, the one with the challenge. So, Charu, and everybody else, there's a 14-day challenge that I have, and the 14-day challenge is about finding 3 companies, finding 3 companies a day, finding an individual at each company that you can reach into, and sending a thoughtful message to get connected to the individuals you found or directly to them or whoever. 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day for 14 days. What that will do is it will, number one, it will start to condition you to get consistent in your reach outs. That's your prospecting. When you do that each day, not only is it going to be more effective, those are higher value add job searching activities that will likely lead to getting your job. But what it also will do is it will raise your confidence level and your comfort level in actually doing it. So I started this challenge about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago. And I started it initially. I gave the instruction. I gave everybody 14 days. I invited people to communicate with me over the 14 days. I said, send me the emails. Tell me what's happening. I do it with my boot campers. I do it with the public. And I was getting all these questions. Hey, I'm having this trouble. Hey, I'm having that trouble. So I consolidated the 6 most common issues. And then 2 weeks later, I gave you the answers to those. But what I did in a more recent workshop is I packaged it all together. I can't even remember, Carol, I don't even remember what I called that. I think it was the 3rd day of the workshop. And but it has the challenge, and it has the problems you're going to encounter, and it has the answers. And so in your case, what I like is you put something in motion, and while something is in motion, you put other things in motion. And if you think about what I just said, if it's Monday and you're not contacting somebody till next Monday, haven't you contacted another how many people, right? 3 people a day for 7 days. You've contacted another 20 people before you're recontacting this other person again. That's what keeps the steady state. That's what keeps the flow of interviews going. And if you want to know the stat you should achieve, for every email that you send, every 7, you should receive an interview. That's a pretty good stat. So try that. Check that out. Hopefully Kara got that. I can't remember what I called that day of the workshop. It might have been called the challenge or something, but Alex, yeah, and actually I really chuckled because I don't know if my dad's on here or my mom's on here, but yeah, he said some very nice things about how you present. So I got the email, I'll show it to you. Really nice, really nice. All right. He called one of his other retired buddies who just retired, so he's going to call somebody, and that's just hilarious. Okay, wait, so more to living, how the Facebook thing came about. I applied via company website, did follow-up email, crickets. Then I went on an email hunt, could not find and located Facebook. I see. Okay, in retrospect, yes. Okay, so more to living, thank you for, okay, so first off, again, I applaud your aggression and creativity. What I would send you back to is, for anybody who gets in a situation where you do not think you can find somebody's email, there are two sites that I like, hunter.io and verifyemailaddress.org. When you get to those sites, you will see exactly what to do. It is, I hate the expression, but it's pretty much monkey proof. I mean, you go in, you put the company name, it gives you the format, you know the person's name, or you try to find a person's name, you go into verifyemailaddress.org, it gives you a lot of data. If you are in the boot camp, boot campers only for this, we have done a whole separate module on LinkedIn X-Ray and how to prepare Google Boolean so you can use Google instead of LinkedIn to target HR people, directors, VPs, recruiters. We teach you, we give you the actual strings. Then you run it in Google, it gives you back the LinkedIn results. So what this is also good for is not only will it help you find the people at a particular company, it will also not show up on LinkedIn's radar that you are constantly looking, because I'm sure some of you out there have got put in LinkedIn jail. This will prevent all of that. So we actually show you, actually this alone is worth the enrollment in the bootcamp, because we literally demo how to do this, how to verify all this, how to make sure you know if they read your email, what they did with your email, all that good stuff. And people have commented that it has been incredibly helpful in finding individuals that they would not have been able to find had they just gone in LinkedIn and tried to use LinkedIn's advanced search. So this is pretty cool stuff that we've included in the bootcamp. That wasn't even on the page that I showed you, but there's a whole module, or I should say a section in a module in the job searching module, which I said, hey, that's the kind of the money one. No disservice to the negotiation module, but that's the one that really moves the needle for people in the search. So if you can swing it, you really should. If not, then use those other sites that I mentioned to you. Andy Perez, Virgos unite. I know. I love being a Virgo and all my fellow Virgos. Hey, Alex. Hey, can we all give Alex a happy birthday wish? Her birthday is September 21st. If you tell me if I got that right. Now, I'm on again in a couple days. That's the 19th. But in case I miss it or forget to say it, can we all give Alex a happy birthday? Because she's a Virgo and her birthday is the 21st. So you're not on the cusp, but you're getting close to that. Is that Libra? I think it's Virgo then Libra. Alina, yes. Wait, Alina, not only are you a SoCal boot camper, but your picture made the video thumbnail for one of the video testimonial packs on the boot camp. I don't know if you just saw that, but wasn't that aren't those really nice, pretty pictures of Kat and Alina? Very nice. Thank you for your testimonials. All right. Sujit, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Andrew, I know it is about resume tips. However, quickly, if I want to negotiate a salary up to 20 to 30% right away, need assistance. Okay. So, no, this is about it. You'd ask me anything about on these Q&A periods. So I would point you to my salary negotiation playlist. I honestly would, because there's not, to get a raise, it's not just one thing. Think about all the things that need to contribute to you negotiating a salary that is 20 or 30% over what you're currently earning. I'm not saying, this stuff happens every day, right? It literally does. In any market, even when the market is bad. So it has to do with your skill set. It has to do with how in demand it is. It has to do with you, how much they love you, how much you were able to demonstrate in an interviewing process, the value that you're going to contribute. You might have awesome skills. They might either not be able to detect it, you might have not portrayed them correctly, or whatever. So it's not about, hey, this is the magic in getting 20 to 30% more. If you check my salary negotiation playlist, watch those videos, and you do those things, you're going to have a better chance. but it's not a one size fits all. And it also depends on what your compensation level currently is. Not that you need to share that with an employer, but if you're already at the top range of what we would theoretically call market pay for what it is that you do. I don't believe in market pay, by the way, but just I know that's something you guys think is out there. It is a myth, but there is some range for project managers. There's some range for account execs. There's some kind of range. If you were way high in relation to what a lot of the other people at that level are earning, companies are not going to be willing to tack another 20 to 30% on, unless you are very, very special and specialized and lovable. So check that out. All right. Charu, you're welcome. Free webinars, yes, galore on the Mahwah Academy site. Charlene, you're welcome. Olga, hey. Nikki, hey. Can we give Nikki a big hug? First time review. I love my old timers. I love my new timers. I always love it. Danny, do you have coaching calls? I do. What's a good morning routine for success? Okay, I love it. So I do coaching calls. If you need help with coaching of any kind, it depends. So if it's job search coaching, I have 3 options. One is if you're a boot camper and you need a coaching session, that is my very favorite because you have all the foundational tools. Because the ultimate is you go through the boot camp and then we have a coaching session, and then that's the best because you learn everything, you self-diagnose, then you know what the problems truly are, then we get together, then we get you over the hump. If need be, sometimes people want to prep for very special interviews they're going on or whatever. That's an easy way to do it. It's a la carte, and you just buy a session at a time. I have a full-blown package. That's $5,000. That's a cold from cold. You want to work with me personally? There's a number of sessions that you get. You get 5 sessions with me, but that's a different pack. Then, what is becoming more and more popular is people who discover me late in the process, meaning, hey, Andy, I'm in this interviewing process. I'm about to get an offer. I want to make it work with the company. I want your guidance on how to negotiate this. The reason I call this specialty out is because the reason I don't just offer like a la carte coaching calls to people that are not in the boot camp is I worry that they are selecting the wrong employers. They need to understand a lot of things about how to get to the right spot. But somebody who is already convinced that this is what I want, I just need to make sure I negotiate it properly. They're at the very last stage. They're not going to need to go through all the other stuff, and they just need that negotiation help. I've been helping those people. And so if that's you and you think, hey, because think about this, right? You know the offer's coming. Now, is it worth it to pay for the 1-hour video session with me to make sure that you're negotiating more? Trust me when I tell you, every single person who has done that, we've had a few dozen people do that style, they've all crushed their offer because, and it's easier to swallow, right? To put the investment in because you know the ROI is going to be there right away. So I get it. That's a few routes you can use to get me there. A good morning routine for success. So I think that everybody is different. So that whole, you need to do this, you need to do that, I think is bunk. I don't care if you roll out of bed and roll into the shower and grab your coffee and run out the door and catch the train. And that's your morning routine. That's your morning routine. My morning routine is different. I get up. I do a number of things normally in a sequence, now with the exception of Tuesday because I'm here with you guys. But I have a number of things that I do usually in this sequence, but I work out, I meditate, I have my coffee, and I actually stay in bed a little bit because it's a little quiet time with my wife and my dogs, and my wife will put the news on. I refuse to watch it, but I'll lay there and just kind of run through my social media. That I would not recommend that for you people. This is my life. This is my business. So I want to make sure that I'm looking, seeing who's commenting, whatever. If I need to respond to anything, I'm happy to do that while I'm having my morning coffee. Then what I do is I go into my time, workout, meditation, I do a little manifestation. I pray for all you people, and I go in, and then if I might eat a little something and clean up, and then I go through my day. I can do all that very early. So that's what I like to do. Sometimes I'll meditate first, then work out. It depends. It depends what day of the week it is. And I exercise 6 days, sometimes 7. Monday is usually my non-workout day, so I might coffee, meditate, clean up, and whatever. But that's what I do. I think the morning, I will say one thing for everybody. Take care of you first. Meaning, don't open up your email, start looking at your email, answering other people's issues and their urgent matters. Focus on you. When I get out of bed, I say 3 thank yous that I rose. I'm everything that I'm doing, I'm focusing on every little mundane task, whether it's opening the blinds, making the bed, brush my teeth, everything is totally focused. That's the other thing, is because I'm practicing focus so that I can focus throughout the day. The meditation has focus practice in it and all that good stuff. I have a lot of this stuff in my leadership program. And as a matter of fact, coming up in October on my leadership monthly live, I'm going to be talking about the energy. It's the energy discussion. So how do you maintain a high level of energy throughout the day? It doesn't matter what your personality or style is. I'm just talking about never being tired, ever. And that's I'm going to give you all my tricks. And it's not just, hey, work out and eat right, because those are contributors, but it's everything from the sequence in which you do things, how you prepare, how you transition your steps. So how do I go from this session to what I do next, to what I do next, to what I do next? There's transitions that occur to eliminate stress. There's other things that zap your energy that you need to be able to do. There's planning components. There's a number of things. So I'm actually sharing that. If you are not in my Leadership Monthly Live program, it's a good program. I would check that out. Maybe Kara can drop that in the chat as well. But for those leaders, I'm going through all of that. October 9th, I think that one is. So, but that's a little bit of insight into my view on that. But we all come from different places. We all have different styles. Some have kids, some don't have kids, some are married, some are not married, partners or whatever. So all that contributes. Jamie, how are you? St. Pete's. Jamie, December 6th. See you at Frenchie's. I am going to be in your front yard. In fact, I think it is, right? Any recommendations or resume tips for healthcare field pharmacists? So Jamie, beyond all the tips that I give everybody in my resume writing playlist, there's a resume tips playlist on my blog. There's nothing special, meaning you don't have to do anything differently if you're in that space. It really is not. I wouldn't do anything differently. All the same principles apply. I know that's kind of a general answer, but it is the truth. Carrie, I see you. Congrats for you, dear. You have been working hard. Awesome. April J. Hello, all. First God, then Oprah. Now. You are a gift to this world. Thank you for your. You know what? Hold on. Okay. Now, Oprah. So I think Oprah is. She is a genius in so many regards, and she is a pretty generous person in many, many regards. So I mean, I'm not even sure what to think of that. That's some pretty high praise. I'm gonna tape that one to my booklet. You guys, this stuff. Like I tape all your comments. You all send me emails that I read. All the ones that are any kind of positivity, I keep, and I read them. If I ever need a dose of inspiration, don't you think for one second that stuff doesn't help. It really does. No matter who we are, no matter how much we love what we're doing, no matter how much we give, no matter what positions we are in life, everybody needs that. And if I'm helping you, I'm thrilled. That's why I do what I do. We just got done, I don't know, half an hour ago talking about how happiness is a cause and effect. If this happens, I will be happy. If this doesn't, I will be sad. Versus the joy. For me, the joy is in the doingness. This is why I'm here twice a week live with you. This is why we have so many extra special live events, because I derive joy from that. And also, I think it makes me a better trainer when I'm interacting with you live. So, I love it and I appreciate that. And I do need that. I will say that I need that help. So I appreciate that. That's pretty high praise. That might be a little bit overly generous, but I'll take it. All right. Enough on that. Thomas Gilbert, hey, got the job offer yesterday. Love it. It's my second choice and have not heard back from my first choice. How do I handle if I get 2 offers or this one offer waiting before my Friday deadline? Thomas, first off, thumbs up. Good for you, my friend. And thank you for clarifying. I got an offer, second choice, waiting first choice, have a deadline, because now I can give you the answer. So folks, this is a common one, and meaning, if you're successfully interviewing, right, you're getting those offers, these don't always occur in the sequence or the preference in which you'd like them to occur. So, first rule of interviewing, go all the way back to the beginning. As soon as you start interviewing with a company, you tell them, I'm only interviewing with you. The minute another company approaches you or you discover another company and you get an interview, you tell the new company, I have another interview going on. You call the first company and say, I'm now starting an interview process with this other company. You do this because you're communicating. You're not being aggressive. You're not playing them against each other. You're communicating so they know where you are. Okay? Now you get into this kind of situation, and what this reputation that you've built across the processes has done is it buys you freedom and flexibility when you get to the end and somebody then gives you an offer. Because it could be your first one, in which case you say, with preference, great, let's make this work, good to go, I'm in. Or it might be your second choice, like it is in Thomas's case. So now if I've been communicating with my first choice, I can easily go back to them and say, hey, I want to let you know I've got an offer from this other organization. To be completely honest with you, I would prefer to work with you based on what I know so far, the people I've met, the job itself, the organization, the culture, the so on, the so forth. So you put that out there. But I have a deadline of Friday. Now, I will try to go and get an extension because I want to make sure I can finish out the process with you. But most importantly, I want to make sure that you are aware that I have this going on. And secondly, I want to see that now knowing this, is there anything that we can do, or can you give me any kind of insight as to what the timing will be, or is there anything we could do to expedite the rest of the process? But at a minimum, I'd like to know so I could be respectful to the other company so that when I ask them for an extension, I can at least give them some kind of definitive deadline by which I can let them know. You're requesting everything. Then you turn back to, now they'll say, we don't know. Okay, that's fine. I can't tell you. We're still interviewing candidates. Oh, wait, Thomas, you know what? I'm going to know by Monday. Okay, great. That's fine. All right, now you got to go back to the other company. You say to them, hey, I really like your offer. I'd love to finish out this process with this other company that I have already informed you about. And I'm gonna go to them. I'm going to get the deadline or whatever, or the target time. And if you already have the target time, you come back and you say, I've already communicated with them. They've assured me that by Monday I will know, or so on and so forth. Whatever it is. Now, because there's be any number of different variables or outcomes that could occur. If the first company says, you need to let us know by Friday. So first off, I think that's kind of crappy, because if I'm the employer and I've extended an offer to you, yes, I want you to take it. However, I also don't want you looking over your shoulder. And I also know that I run the risk of you accepting my job offer and then reneging, because this is the next thing I'm going to tell you to do. If the company that is your second choice does not give you the freedom to finish out the other process, you accept it. You got to take it, because you could be, if it's a good option, take it. And if this is me and you handcuffed me, I'm going and I'm finishing out the process with the other employer, and I'm gonna try to extend my start date as long as possible, and I'm gonna finish it out. And remember, they did not leave you a choice. Now, some of you might be shaking your head saying, well, Andy, isn't your word your bond and this and that? It is. However, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to get in a situation where you're going to spend the next 2 years upset with yourself because you didn't finish out this process and you're constantly looking over your shoulder. Or what happens when that company comes back and they say, hey, we really wanted to hire you. So what I think is the least amount of damage for everybody is you didn't give me a choice, so I accepted it. I finished out the process, and I'm telling you now, I'm not coming. Right? I'm just being honest, and I'm looking out for your safety. And if the employer was smart, they would have let you finish it out. I, as a recruiter, have job candidates where we work on behalf of organizations. We go and we recruit people. If our client, the hiring company, gives an offer to our job candidate, and that job candidate has other things going on, and we're first, I say to my client and the candidate, go ahead and finish them out. You got to finish them out. It's got to be a reasonable amount of time, but I don't want you looking over your shoulder. If we are not first, I say to the job seeker, to the candidate, you got to get time from that other company. And some people, they get time, and some people, they get nervous and they just accept it. But that's the way it goes. But I know better, because I know what happens in the long run. So I'm a long-term thinker. I do not want somebody showing up that then, what's worse, you showing up, starting to work, then leaving. And then think about how much more time they've lost and money. So, because then they stop the recruitment process. Then the pipeline goes cold. So that's what I would do. I hope that helps. Ann, how are you? Let me see if I can get a few more of these in here. All right, 8:12. All right, I'm going to try to get a couple more in here. Got any questions about the boot camp? support@milewalk.com. You're going to get one last email tomorrow morning to jump into the program. That's it. And then that special will expire at, Kara, is, I think tomorrow is at 4 Central, 5 Eastern time. But if you can get in the program before then, love to have you. If you're not sure, get in at the lowest level. Get in the base package. There's a ton of stuff. You can always decide to upgrade if you want. All right, let's see. Chanel, I've been unemployed for 4 months as of today. Although I've been getting interviews and crushed them, I'm still receiving rejection letters. What could I have possibly done wrong? Chanel, I do not know. There's too many variables there. But obviously, the interviewing must not be getting you over the hump. So I would focus on a couple things. My interviewing playlist, check all that out, and also check out the free webinar I have on 3 keys to ace any job interview. That's the free interviewing webinar on the Mile Walk Academy. So check that out. It's too difficult for me to speculate on what you could be doing wrong. Hey, Sue from Arizona. Han Yin, CNN reported the job market is so strong in August that new hires aren't showing up for their first day of work. That sounds so dumb. No, this is what happens. Lots of times, okay, you just heard me say to Thomas, take the job, finish out the other thing. What happens? He didn't show up for his first day on the job because he got the other job. I mean, stuff happens. Alivtina, what a name. I don't know that name, so maybe I don't know if you're a first timer, but welcome. Thank you for your channel. I want to transition from pharmacy to architecture. What should I put in my resume and cover letter given that I don't have any formal education or experience trying to get an internship position? So, I do know a bit about the architectural industry. It is highly competitive. If you have no schooling whatsoever, it is even worse. And the architectural industry, the function, the market itself is one of the best at providing internships for the students who are in the programs. So you are not only competing against people who actually have experience, you're competing with the college students and the recent college graduates who have the requisite training. So I'm only commenting this way because you specified which field you want to go into, which I always like for you guys to do rather than just saying I want to change careers. I would highly recommend, like super, super strongly recommend, that you get some kind of schooling if you want to go into that field. It is going to be very difficult to break in cold. It really is. And so, there's schools, obviously, you can go to college for it and get an undergrad, but there might be some trade options that you can do as well. I really would recommend that. That is not a field you want to monkey about with. They want formal training. It's just too easy for them to pluck one right out of the beautiful tree. So that's my suggestion because of where you want to go. All right, Muji World. Andy, I had an interview today. I want to thank you for your help in videos. It helped me a lot. Oh, wait, sorry. One last thing. Elivtina, I do have a career changer playlist on YouTube. I would recommend looking at that as well. So sorry about that. I do want you to check that out. Muji World. Andy, I had an interview today. I want to thank you for your help in videos. It helped me a lot. The interviewer said you sold yourself better than anyone, and I will be invited for a second interview. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. And yes, let's give Alex, it is Aleks. Seema, hey, Seema Base, I'm wondering if that's her friend. Who knows her? If that's Samir, great to have you, buddy. And if it's not, good to have you, Seema. Olga, hey. Sue, hey. And you're a Sag. I love it. Hey, Mom is here. Hey, Mom. Alex wants to thank Dad. Pass that along. Kenya Tolliver, interviewed, haven't heard back. Got a recommendation to apply for another position in the same department. What should I do? I would apply. Just mention that you are in the process of also interviewing in that other department. Very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. All right, let me see. John Bailey, hey. Chanel, great. CLA Love, great to have you. And what about lean management? Can you pick up courses from Udemy, and will most employers accept that in lieu of a college program? Lean, there are Lean and Six Sigma programs that you can go to. And yes, that is highly valuable. I don't know if Udemy has it, but I would try that. I really would. Spirit, hey, thank you for the live stream. You're welcome. What would it take for you to review my CV? I would be happy to do it. All you need to do is get in the boot camp and enroll in the resume review package. That's the middle package, and I'd be happy to do it. Han, how do we follow up an interview without sounding desperate? 7 days. Actually, if you've actually interviewed, you should have asked. In hindsight, should have asked. All of you ask at the end of your interview, what's next? What's the usual timing? When might I hear from you? All those are very fair questions. That's not desperate at all. If they do not say anything, then 7 days and just tap, tap. Alivtina, I hope that's how you say it. Please do. MS Tina Gates, are there any jobs you recommend for somebody who majored in economics? The world is your oyster if you majored in economics. Any type of business-oriented position, you could go in anything. Not to be funny, but it's a wide one. All right, folks, I gotta run. I think I got a lot of the questions in. If I did not get to your question or you think of something, YouTube, this is all live streams recorded. Pop it in. I'm back on Thursday at 11 for live office hours. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time, 5 Eastern, I'm with my boot campers. I'd love to see you there. If you're a boot camper, I hope you join me. If you're not in the boot camp, and you're on the fence, get in. It's a great package. You will be blown away by the amount of content, the stuff that's in there. It is a pretty, I challenge you to find anything that's that good, that quality, that level of quantity, that much live time with the coaching, and all that good stuff. All right, folks, love it. Thanks to everybody who showed up on Friday for the Chicago meetup. If you are newer to the community and in the Mile Walk Academy programs, meaning you've paid to get into something, whether it's this book, these books are free. Even if these books are free. The links are out there somewhere. If you've bought those, if you've signed up for the interview course or the resume course or the boot camp or my Leadership Monthly Live or any of that stuff, and you were having trouble getting in the Facebook groups, that has now been fixed. We wrestled with Facebook for a month. It's now fixed. You can get in. Make sure to get in. And I know I forget to say that. We'll be sending a message out. But if you are, click that link, get in, and we'd love to have you. All right, I'll see y'all Thursday, and I'll see my boot campers tomorrow. Everybody be good. See you.